Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. Not really much to go in, really, not really much of a setup. Got 6 albums to do. Again, thank you to everyone who watched the Break Even Full stream on Friday, even though I thanked you in the Fight the Night review I did. Yeah, it was kind of cool. And also the full pay-per-view is up on YouTube as of yesterday. Almost said last night, but no, I put it up during the day, so you can go and watch that. But before you do that, maybe watch this, depending on how good the albums are. Let's go. First we go to Los Angeles, California for Bad Wolves with their third album, Dear Monsters. Now, this is my third album by the band. They've been around not super duper long. Obviously, a lot of people know who they are because of their cover of the Cranberry song Zombies, which has the really bad millennial lyrics, according to a friend of mine, and I just do sort of agree with that friend. But yeah, this is the band's first album without Tommy Vex as well, with their new singer named Daniel Leskowicz, I don't know how to fully say it. It's who is known as the guitarist for the Acacia Strain, and I'm really glad to just have another Bad Wolves album, especially a good one with a new singer. I'm giving it an A. Really enjoyed a lot of the emotion that really went into this. I don't know what it is, but Daniel felt a bit easier to connect with than Tommy, who, for the most part, was just doing a really semi-decent impression of Ivan Moody, let's be honest with ourselves, and no one really likes Five Finger Death Punch anymore. So it's nice to have not just this new injection because of Daniel, but sort of a new sort of outlook on everything. There's still all that heaviness that they used to by the bands, more emotion, less of a focus on the political stuff, which I think is probably the right call, considering the reason why Tommy was extricated from the band, let's just use that term for it. But yeah, I highly recommend this album. Really good songwriting, really enjoyable lyrics. The production is rock solid as well. For a band on Better Noise, who are not my favourite label, like any subsidiary of 11/7 really, I just don't really agree with, but this is really good stuff, so I recommend taking it for yourself. From LA Cali to Cincinnati, Ohio for Black Veil Bride's 6th album, The Phantom Tomorrow. Now, I did a backtracking episode of these guys earlier in the year, and I said I was looking forward to this album. And you know what? For a Black Veil Bride's album, it is still pretty solid for them. I'm giving it a B. I did enjoy it, and I understand it was supposed to be sort of a sequel to Wretched and Divine, which was their third album, but it's sort of 8 years too late to do that, considering that there was 2 other albums in between that didn't really build on that story. So it feels a bit late to the party in a way, but it's still a really good Black Veil Brides album. You know, it's decent. Sorry for my hair. It's decent gothic rock. You know, really more of a focus on the rock side. They've shed all of the goth pretenses, which I think is just a really smart thing for them to do. I like how this one sort of feels more like a dark superhero movie in a way, whereas Wretched and Divine felt like a sort of end of the world apocalypse sort of thing in a weird way. But you know what? Still pretty solid in its own ways. Really good songwriting. Jake Pitts is still a fantastic guitarist, and yeah, pretty much everything that should work does, you know? It just doesn't fully capture the spirit of Wretched and Divine, but it's still a lot of fun to listen to. Next up we go to a debut, Calling All Captains from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, with their full-length debut, Slowly Getting Better. Now, I listened to their first EP back at the start of, I want to say 2020, called Nothing Goes Here. I think it was called Nothing Goes Here. And I really like that, mostly because the lead singer doesn't sound like your typical pretty boy pop-punk vocalist. Like, he's got a lot of roughness and grit to his voice. It does lend itself well to more of a sort of hardcore punk leaning sound with a lot of really pop-punk melodies, and you know what? I really like the EP. I really like this album. I'm also giving it an A. I really enjoyed a lot of what's present. Obviously, also a band from Canada. I love a lot of the music that comes from Canada because sometimes it can be really inventive like this. My cat is scritching himself. But yeah, there's really good, fittingly dark lyrics as well about addiction, and like the lead singer openly smokes. I think he admits to that like several times on the album, but it's not a repetitive theme or anything. It's the fact that, you know, one of the main lyrical themes stemming from it is, by the band on this album, is the theme of like letting down family and things like that, and sort of they want to improve over that, and it's a really good theme, and not a lot of pop-punk bands really lean into it, and the fact that this is a heavier leaning pop-punk band really lends itself to that well. So I do recommend this one, and I recommend the Black Veil Brides album too, but yeah, this one a little bit more so. I liked it quite a lot, and I'm looking forward to whatever they drop next, because this was good. Next we head back to the States, specifically Atlanta, Georgia, for Mastodon with their, what I believe is their 8th album, I almost said 13th, their 8th album, Hushed and Grim. Now, I've been familiar with Mastodon for a while, I've never fully listened to an album. I feel like this was not the best point to jump on. I'm giving it a C+, right? And I know so many people are ranting and raving about this album, calling it one of the best of the year, and it's got really good musicianship, solid lyrics. I like the theme that most of it is a tribute to their former manager who passed away a couple of years ago, I think. The really good performances. Obviously, everyone is a great musician and a really good singer, and I like a lot of the production. But it's roughly an hour and a half of prog metal sludge plodding. It didn't really do a lot for me. That's the only thing that really brings it down. Everything else about it is really good, and if that were a factor, I'd probably give this album a B+, right? I don't think it touches A for me, and I don't think this was the right album the right full-length album by Mastodon for me to get into the band. I understand the appeal, and I know it was 4 years since their last album, which I think was The Hunter. No, it was Emperor of Sand. It was one of the two. But god damn, this thing is long. And I think that's really, again, the only thing that bogs it down for me. I really wanted to enjoy it more, and I do like a lot of what works, but the fucking length of it really doesn't. I understand it's a double album, those are long by design, but I didn't really like the design of the album long enough for it to be this long. I don't think it really earned that. And I know Mastodon are probably one of those bands that could get away with it, but I feel the same about this as I did about the new Tool album. Seriously, this is what people were excited for, but at least this one has more of a meaning behind it because it is a tribute album to a friend of theirs. But I still recommend giving this album a listen because I understand there are fans of Mastodon who probably are writing in the comments now, but this album, I'm sorry, it's long. It feels longer than it actually is. So, yeah, but still give it a shot anyway, because it is good. It's just really long. Next we go to another debut, and the only band from England on this list, a 2-year break with their first full album, Do You Wanna Find Love? Now, I've actually been following these guys for a while. I heard one or two of the songs back in late 2017, early 2018, and they dropped a couple of EPs. I didn't listen to those because I'm not typically an EP guy, although I did admit to listening to an EP by Calling All Captains earlier. But for the first full length, really enjoyed it, giving it a B+. I really liked a lot of the elements that they used because they're more of a darker leaning pop-punk band. They had more alternative rock elements. They had some really interesting electronic stuff and some really good post-hardcore stuff. I wish those elements were used a bit more. I think the album can fall a bit too much into a safety net, and I get it is a debut, but Calling All Captains dropped their debut and they didn't really give a shit about a safety net. But this album is still really solid, and 2-year break are a really likeable band. They do a really good job of capturing the essence of the anxiety of what the pandemic brought, and I'm pretty sure a couple of these songs were written before the pandemic was even a thing. But yeah, the themes of mental health as a focus, and obviously the pandemic fallout, and a lot of it really worked for me. They need to tighten things up on their next one, but I am looking forward to the next one, so yeah, I recommend giving this one a shot, especially if you're vaguely familiar with a band like this, because they are quite charming and quite easy to get behind, so this is an album that really emulates that, I think. And finally, we reach Knoxville, Tennessee's Whitechapel with their 8th album, Kin. Now, I was not big on their last album, The Valley, back in 2019. I just wasn't, and that was a time where I was trying to find my deathcore legs, so to speak, and I think I gave the album a C or C+. I thought the album was just really average. For a deathcore album, it was pretty average. It was good, but it served the gap it was supposed to serve. I think Kin fully changed my mind about it. I'm giving this the only A+ in this episode. I fell in love with this a bit more than I was expecting. Here's the thing: The Valley was a really good concept album. To my knowledge, Kin does not fully follow that, but it feels like a sequel and a much better story in some ways. Really love the heaviness, really love the guitar work. The band has 3 guitarists and all of them really go off. Phil Bozeman is a fantastic vocalist, and this is one of the band's cleaner albums as well. Usually they don't include a lot of melody and clean singing. It really served the purpose of this one. They probably had a bit of it on The Valley, I don't remember. I'm talking about Kin, and Kin is absolutely amazing. Love the story elements, love the production's really good. The structure is really, really good too. There's a good couple of instrumental tracks that build to really big things that follow. Yeah, I just love how well put together this one is, honestly, for a deathcore/metalcore album. And for an album that I guess Whitechapel fans are probably not going to be as big on. They were probably a bit bigger on The Valley than I was. I'm bigger on Kin than most people might be. And yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the next Whitechapel album now. I think I might actually be a fan. Who knows? I like this a lot more than I thought I would. And that's it for another episode. 6 albums all done and dusted, mate, in it. The next one will only have 5 albums, which is good because the year's winding down and I want to work more on like my top 10 lists at the end of the year because we're getting to that time, you know. And as for what's next from me, I'm not streaming tonight. I'm taking a week off from the pay-per-view, but I will be streaming Psychonauts on Friday night. I'm not going to be streaming tonight. And next video, maybe another episode of Music of the Week. I don't really know what the hell's next, but you'll find out when I do. And yeah, that'll be it. Oh, I always forget to do this. My most recommended albums: Bad Wolves, Dear Monsters, Calling All Captains Slowly Getting Better, and Whitechapel Kit. Those are the 3 I recommend the most, although give all of them a fair shake of your own free will if you want to. It's completely up to you. You don't even have to listen to the albums I recommended, so there you go. But yeah, I'll see you for whatever the next video is. That was a very loud scream I just heard outside, and as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome. Bye bye.